Hello, parents. Hello, everyone. It's FRAZELMA LYNN, the Parenting 911 coach, and it is Tuesday around 11:31-ish. We are doing lunch, so I hope you have your lunch and you're ready to talk for just a few minutes. It's cold here. It has been 80 degrees, and then the last few days we've had a freeze. So it's like 36 today. I want to talk with you all about a myth for sure. Did you realize that statistics say that all families are at risk of being dysfunctional at some point? Just think about that for a moment. All parents are at risk of being dysfunctional at some point. That includes the doctors, the lawyers, the teachers, the office administrators, the engineers, the restaurant managers, CEOs, truck drivers, first responders. That includes all of us. Many times, we immediately, when we hear the words at risk or dysfunctional, we allow our minds to go to a certain group of people, or to a certain economic status, or maybe to a single parent family. But we have a certain group of people that our minds immediately go to, and guess what? Usually it's not us. So let's dispel the myth. Most people believe that working parents and parents with college degrees, parents, two-parent families don't really have any issues, no worries. They can handle and juggle everything, have no problems with it, as if they are superhumans. But the truth of the matter is they hurt too. They have problems and issues, and sometimes they don't know what to do. You see, the definition to dysfunctional is when the needs are not being met for every member of the family. So dysfunction wounds, rips, tears, and destroys the family bond. It's like a cancer. It poisons the family relationships. And it's very subtle. Usually we don't even realize there is an issue until it has already infiltrated the ranks. And then we don't talk like we used to with our children, and nobody's getting along at home, and everybody wants to go to their separate isolated corners and close the doors and not have any kind of family bonding, and no time to just laugh and talk. When we realize it, it's already happening. Dysfunction can be that mom or dad who works really hard. They come home frustrated from a hard day's work, and they take that frustration out on their children. Usually it's by yelling, screaming, fussing, or even cursing. I just call it cussing. But it's taking the frustration out on the children. My mom would do that. She would scream and yell and fuss and cuss. And the profanity, those words were the worst to me, because they would cut straight through into my soul, it seemed. I mean, honestly, I would have rathered a spanking, because the words hurt so much more. Sometimes parents work such long hours they don't even get to see their children until their children have already gone to bed and are asleep, or maybe, just maybe, on the weekend. And then the children start feeling abandoned because they don't get a chance to see their parents or spend time with their parents. Well, that's dysfunctional. Or that dad that works really hard hours, and he's working his fingers to the bone, putting a roof over the family's head and making sure food is on the table and shoes on everyone's feet. And when he gets home, he's already worn out, he's tired and frustrated, and he just wants to pop open a beer and put his feet up, and he doesn't want to talk to any children or see any children right then. And he says, go to your room, go to your room. I'm tired. I've worked hard all day. He doesn't understand that that's dysfunctional. The children want him. They want to spend time with him. They want to laugh and talk and just be in his presence. And that's dysfunctional. That parent that doesn't know how to show appropriate affection to their child, maybe because they were never shown affection as a child. And then, we tend to say things like, I'm not touchy feely, but if your child needs a hug, who better to give them one than their parent? And when we refuse to show them affection, that's dysfunctional. Some children have to escape from home because the environment is so toxic. They have to go to the neighbor's house, or go and spend hours upon hours at a friend's house, trying to get away from the negativity and maybe even the abuse, whether it's emotional or verbal or physical, trying to get away from the abuse at home. That's dysfunctional. What about the soft parenting style where the parent goes and does everything? I mean, everything for their children, and anything the child asks, the parent does. And the parent will go in debt trying to get enough money to get whatever the child is asking for, because that parent thinks that's how we show love, and it's not. But it is dysfunctional. Using your children as leverage in an argument with the other parent, or with the grandparent, that's dysfunctional. Putting your children in the middle of the argument and saying, well, you won't ever see them again if you don't do what I'm asking, that's dysfunctional. And let's not forget the teachers and the preachers, their children, because they're so busy trying to help other families and other children until many times they neglect their own children. That's dysfunctional. And then there are times when we're grieving. Parents are grieving, whether it be from a loss of a loved one, or a divorce, or the loss of a job, or maybe you've lost your home. Whatever the case may be, whatever you're grieving from, usually we isolate ourselves and we don't want to talk about what's going on. We have too much emotion built up, and so we don't really want to share all of that with our children, and we shut down. Well, that's also, dysfunctional. And that parent that continuously makes excuses for their children. You know, the one that thinks their children can do no wrong, that their children has never told a lie, that their children has never been sneaky to get away with anything. Their children have never, ever gone behind their backs to do anything. If we were to monitor very closely, especially social media, we'll find out a lot of things are going on that we don't know about. Well, that's dysfunctional. Enabling children to depend totally on you to do everything for them, that's dysfunctional. Children need to be empowered so they can learn how to do things for themselves. If dysfunction is not addressed and dismantled, then your family will deal with it continuously. And not only will your family deal with it, when your children become parents, they'll continue that cycle because they don't know anything different. Let me reiterate, at some point, all families are at risk of being dysfunctional. The chronic part about the dysfunctionality is not knowing how to deal with it, not knowing what to do about it. We say home sweet home, and that means that everyone's needs are being met. However, when we're living in dysfunction, home is not sweet. Home may be beautiful. Home may be brand new. Home may be 7 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. Home may be elegant and expensive, but that does not mean that home is sweet. Stating the problem, though, without a solution is not helpful to anyone. So now that we know some of the ways to even realize that dysfunction is in the family, we now need to know what to do about it. As the Parenting 911 coach, I'm on a rescue mission to teach, coach, and guide parents from being in a dysfunctional situation to an amazing functional situation where everyone's needs are met in the family, and it can be home sweet home. With the knowledge that all of us are at risk of being dysfunctional, I invite you to participate in a 6-month coaching program called Built to Last. 3 major steps to being family solid. The first step we will focus on balance, on structure, where we strategize to give you the plan to relieve stress at home, so that everyone has clarity and knows exactly what needs to be done, so that your family can have principles to stand on, and everyone in the family's needs will begin to be met. Then the second step focuses on mastering proper discipline. We learn exactly what discipline is, what it means, and what it does. Not the myth that we have in our mind, but what discipline really is. And then the third step is pointed toward mastering deep communication. How to learn compassionate and respectful communication, to build and to heal relationships in the family. Just go to www.parenting.org and schedule a family strategy session with me to begin the Built to Last coaching program. Now, some of you are probably wondering, beyond my examples, how would you know if your family is dysfunctional? I also have a family functionality assessment. It is 30 questions to help you realize if your family is dysfunctional at that time. When we have our strategy session, we can talk about the assessment. And if you would like to get one, then I'll give you the link to download the assessment. Now, I must be honest. Every family that's listening right now or that will see this video has an opportunity to decrease and even eliminate dysfunction in their family. The offer to make sure your family's needs are being met is being extended to everyone that hears this or sees this. Unfortunately, some won't accept the invitation because of being paralyzed by fear, by guilt, and by the shame of who might find out that your family is dysfunctional. Only a few of you are willing to make a difference in your family as soon as you hear this and schedule your call with me. For those who are on the fence, don't allow your children to suffer in dysfunction because you don't want to be embarrassed. Actually, that choice in itself is dysfunctional. So, for our children's sake, and for our family's sake, and for your sake, go to www.parenting911.org and schedule a family strategy session with me. Book a session and let's turn dysfunction around for you and your family as we heal and rebuild the family structure and relationships. I'm looking forward to working with all of you because our children need to grow up in that home sweet home type of atmosphere. However, we as parents have to have the skills needed to be able to make home be sweet. We have to have the skills needed to know how to turn dysfunction into function, how to meet the needs of everyone in our household, including ours. So I look forward to hearing from you. www.parenting911.org and book, schedule a family strategy session. Let's turn things around for our families. All right, you all enjoy the rest of your lunch, and I look forward to talking with you next Tuesday, each Tuesday, 11:30 a.m. Central Time, right here. All right, have a great rest of your day.